Hey everybody, it's Chris E. It's Wootini from GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. Because I've been addicted to Fantasy Life on the 3DS, I started playing it, and I got really addicted to it, and then I was like, no, I have to stop, because I was like this close to the end of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. So, I paused Fantasy Life, and I went back and finished I was just in the epilogue, there wasn't much to do. I was just wrapping up the storyline and everything. So I finished Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, which took me longer than I thought it would. I kept getting distracted. But I just wanted to talk about that briefly. I am a fan of the Professor Layton games, and I am a fan of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games. I have every game in every series, even the spin-offs of the Ace Attorneys, that weren't as good. But I love both series. I think they're both fantastic. And when I found out they were teaming up, I was super excited. And I wasn't disappointed as much as I think I just got my hopes up a little too high. So that when I played the game, it was just good. And I guess I was kind of expecting it to be, like, amazing. So it was just good. I mean, it's a solid entry. The problem is that it's two great tastes that taste good together, you know, and I guess I was expecting more. I mean, I wasn't even sure how it was going to merge together anyway. I mean, just from the art style, because you have Professor Layton, which is all, like, European, cartoony, super exaggerated stuff, and then you have the Phoenix Wright, which is just, you know, anime style Japanese tunes. So I didn't quite know how those were going to merge. In the end, it turns out this game pretty much does, except for some earlier stuff that's just Professor Layton that uses those characters, the supporting cast in this game is all pretty much the Phoenix Wright art style. So the only time it becomes weird is when Phoenix Wright is talking to Professor Layton, and you have your anime Phoenix Wright talking with the very minimalist cartoon Professor Layton, which, you know, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a little odd in the beginning to see them talking to each other, but you're so excited to see them talking to each other that you don't even notice that the art styles don't quite mesh. And then you don't care anymore, because you're just seeing it, and they're mixing and matching characters, and it's all fine. I think the problem for me is that I wanted a little more out of the team-up, and basically what it turns into is you play a Professor Layton game, and you walk around, and you solve puzzles and collect clues. Then you're in this fantasy world that's afraid of witches, so there are witch trials. So then suddenly you're in the middle of suddenly you find yourself in a witch trial, so you're playing Phoenix Wright as you defend the witch. And then when that trial's over, you go back and do more puzzle solving, and then there's another trial, then there's more puzzle solving, then there's another trial, then there's more puzzle solving. And you just keep switching back and forth. There's a little bit of attempting to tweak the trial stuff with a little Professor Layton-y stuff, but it's not really. So, like, it doesn't really merge the games as much as they just take turns. So it's a little bit of each. And then the other problem is that I think, I mean, the Ace Attorney sections have the same problem that I have with every Ace Attorney game, where you'll be doing a trial and you'll know what you're supposed to do. Like, you know what the problem with the testimony is, but you just aren't sure which obscure piece of evidence is going to give you the result you need, and it becomes a little trial and error-y, and it's a little annoying and frustrating. But it was fine. The problem that I had was that the Professor Layton puzzles, I don't know if they dumbed them down because they were afraid they didn't want to alienate the Ace Attorney fans who were picking up this game, and they didn't want to scare them off with really difficult puzzles. But they were, like, crazy easy. I mean, there were a few that, like, gave me a little bit of, like, oh, there was one puzzle where I was like, you know what, this is frustrating, and I don't have time for this right now. I'm going to move on with the story, and I'll come back to it later. But, like, the puzzles that are required to advance in the story were crazy easy. You know, there's like a bridge puzzle where you just rotate things and then there's your solution. And I was like, that was it? That's not hard at all. So that was a little disappointing. But as far as fan service goes, it's delightful. And, you know, you've got two characters who do a lot of pointing, and it's fun. So, I mean, if you're a fan of either series or both series, then you should definitely play it. I mean, you probably already have. This is a bit late. It's been out for a while, but it took me a while to get through it, as I said. And if you're a fan of one and not the other, then don't let it scare you off, because it's fine. You'll be fine. If you're not a fan of either series, then I don't see why you would pick this one up anyway, so... but then, having finished that, I can now devote all my time to Fantasy Life, which continues to be delightful and super fun. I switched my life to go and be a miner, because as a paladin I was going on these adventures and I kept seeing all these ore deposits, and so I wanted to mine those, because it seemed a waste to just let them sit there. So I started mining. The problem is that I became, I leveled up in my mining, but then the next story, like the next mining quests that I was supposed to go on, took me back up to this mountain that I had already been to as a paladin, but going back as a miner, I mean, you can still go back. As a miner, I can still wear armor and have my sword and shield that I use as a paladin, because I remember all my paladin skills. You can combine all your skills together. You don't forget them when you switch lives. The problem was that I went back up there, and there's like, the enemies are really hard, and then I couldn't even get into the cave where I could do the mining for the missions, because there was a giant snow dragon outside of it that was just kicking my butt, and I had to run away. So that was not good. So I switched back to Paladin and figured, let me just go through the story a little bit more and level up some more, and then I can go back later. But it's super fun. And I love the idea of switching jobs as you go. I want to try to switch jobs as I go. I just today started fishing, which is great because there's all these fishing spots. And I just feel like those are the kinds of jobs where like fishing and the mining, and I should probably try wood cutting as well. Because as you're going on your adventures, you come across fishing ponds and ore deposits and trees to cut. So I feel like those are good ones to get in the beginning so that you can do all of that. Like, it just level up like once or twice so that you can at least do some of that while you're going on your paladin adventure. What's also nice that I've discovered is that as you're adventuring as a paladin, you can stop to mine because you still have your mining skills, even though you're technically a paladin. But doing mining also does level up your mining, and it does complete mining missions even though you're technically a paladin. You can't go and get credit for those mining missions until you become a miner again. You have to switch back. Because as a miner, I tried to go to the paladin office and seek the head paladin and say, hey, I did some stuff, and he was like, yeah, I can't do anything with you, you're not a paladin right now. Come back when you're a paladin again. So I had to go back to the office and switch and then go back there and do it. It's a little annoying, but I'm not sure why you can't just switch jobs on the fly, but you have to go to the office. I guess they want to make it a little difficult. I don't know why, because it's just sort of annoying to have to go out of your way to the other shop and then go back. But it continues to be delightful, and I continue to enjoy it. There is a lot of content in this game, and it feels like I'm flying through the story, but I don't think I am. Because it is an RPG, I feel like there's a lot of story to go through, but I don't know. I haven't looked online to see how many chapters there are, to see how far along I am, knowing what chapter I'm on, like, because I'm afraid if I know that, like, you know, there's only 3 more chapters, I'm gonna get, like, oh no. And then also I'm gonna get distracted from the story because I'm gonna want to go around and learn all the different jobs all at once. But I will have some more on that next week. And also this week, look for my review of Fantasia Music Evolved. It's a hard sell, but you should definitely check it out if you're curious. There is a demo. I will see you back here next week, and we'll see what else I'm playing. Bye!